Babaji, the question today is in relation to the secret of the mind. Babaji said, when consciousness is in itself, it will be totally contented. All because of contentment, it was totally peaceful. No other desire arose. You need something else only when you don't have peace. A desire could have arisen, a desire couldn't have arisen just as a desire. Babaji, does having a desire means we are not peaceful? Sometimes we are not content because we tend to compare ourselves with others or fear others would compare. What is the actual source of this kind of thoughts?
Consciousness itself gives rise to these thoughts in imagination, because the mind is, for an ordinary person, mind is looking for peace, that which it had enjoyed by remaining in the self, totally contented. But now, because the desires are arising, the constant craving, that makes the mind to lose its peace and be anxious, either brooding about the past or anxious about the future. So that is how the desires arise. If we practice just watching, this just watching and meditation is that you practice self control. You practice to remain quiet, then you are contented. Because that means you gain the knowledge of yourself also in this process. It's not as easy as we are talking, it's a long process of meditation and tapas, though. But however, if one practices consistently, daily, with a disciplined approach, so one day anybody can achieve this one. That is the first word, a self control. When the self control comes, then by then you would have settled in yourself, means the consciousness settling in itself. Just like if you observe the space and matter, all the matter is in the space, whereas space is in itself. It doesn't need anything else for its existence. Even if you remove all the matter, disappears or dissolve, the space will be there. So that is the final truth. So that is what is giving contentment. If your mind also is the same infinite, when no desires arise, when it is quiet, it realizes about itself that it doesn't need anything else for its existence. Always, existence is one of the major insecure problems for anybody. So, when that is threatened, when that needs with imagination for something for its happiness and enjoyment, then it loses its peace and goes into cravings. So that is why meditation is start. Regular practice of meditation can help any person to regain the consciousness of existence, thus going back to self, existing in one's own self, just being there without any desires and without any cravings. So that is the important thing.
Thank you, Babaji. The next question. Not depending for our happiness on the result or outcome of the worldly object. Babaji, what is the first step to renounce expectations?
This can happen only when the mind becomes quiet. You achieve total silence of the mind. Otherwise, it is the mind's imagination which goes into cravings. It imagines that my happiness is in this, watching this world. Just like, for example, one might imagine my happiness is in chocolate, my happiness is owning a property, my happiness is owning a car. Owning a car is not a problem, but the mind's craving is the problem. So that is what the problem is. Then the imagination comes and it goes into craving, so then it loses its peace. So to achieve this peace back, You have to totally have the control of the mind and not allow yourself to go into such imaginations unnecessarily. You can just plan and buy a car. These two things are different. You can just plan and buy a car by looking into some means in which way you can buy a car. But instead of that, in the mind, you keep going into craving. Should I buy this car? Should I buy that car? Which one is better? Which one should I go for a higher variety? All these are turning into cravings in the mind, makes one to lose its happiness, its contentment.
Thank you, Babaji. The next question for today. It's on the topic of how to find true happiness. People imagine their happiness is linked with the objects of the world, like relationships, property, and possessions. But the real happiness is within oneself. In this materialistic world, there is a pressure to form relationships, to own properties, to have titles. Is this part of God's test, Babaji? Should we just ignore the pressure and just be ourselves without needing to own anything? Living a simple life with minimum interactions with people and being content. Is this how God wants us to be? Or does God want us to interact with certain people so that certain karmic debts or patterns can be settled?
You see here, whatever cravings or imaginations comes into your mind, based on that, you try to identify your happiness with some object or some property, some relationship, some position. Okay, this is my happiness. So you go into a craving and you try put an effort to get into that one. Well, first thing important, having a small desire itself is not a problem, but allowing it to go into such craving that you are unable to remain in peace is the problem. So you can have any relationship, you can possess any property, is no problem. But if it comes, okay. If it doesn't comes, okay. You should have such an attitude, because even if such a thing doesn't come, your happiness should not be disturbed. So that is how you have to practice. That is the spirituality. If you practice the meditation, you will always be contented, at peace, whether it is happening or it is not happening. That is like a karma yoga. You want something, you put an effort, then whatever happens, it happens, and you are at peace. Means in all this process, your peace is not getting disturbed because you are able to keep yourself quiet. That is the practice of meditation, dhyana yoga. This is possible when you remain in yourself, when the mind remains in itself. So, when it doesn't go into craving. Cravings are the problem. Going into anxiousness is the problem, or brooding is the problem. So, like, for example, the past. We all have to understand past is not going to come back under any circumstances. No point in allowing our mind to go into a brooding. Then we lose our peace, we become emotional, so we cannot enjoy in anywhere, in anything, in the present. The mind goes back all the time into craving. It is not going to come back. Only in your imagination it is. That time is over, it is lapsed. So that's how the nature's law is working. Future also, you can have some idea what you want, like plan for your future. That is no problem. But don't have to be anxious. When you are anxious, you imagine the right, wrong, this happens, that happens, what if it doesn't happen, what anything wrong happens. Before anything happens itself, your mind will go into such craving and unnecessary imaginations. Oh, what if this thing happens? What if I don't get? What if I get and somebody snatches? Why to imagine all those things now when it is not happening? So if you imagine like that, you will lose peace, which you don't have to. That's why for a future, you can plan, but you have to work in the present. Because of your future anxiousness, You must notice, means anybody must notice that they are not working properly in the present. In the present, you simply keep quiet and expect that the future should take shape. It will not happen like that. So it will never come, and your mind will be going into craving, 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 and anxiousness, and you will always be troubled, choked neck and choked throat, and everything happening. So you will not be able to do anything. That is not necessary. Instead, you concentrate on the present now and put in efforts, work for that one. Then the future will take a shape on its own. You don't have to be anxious. So you have to dealing becoming anxious or fearful in your mind and just deal with this world. You can own anything, you can own a kingdom also, but you need to remain mentally withdrawn so that you don't go into craving and get troubled unnecessary. A kingdom is there, tomorrow a kingdom may not be there. Today you might be a prime minister and tomorrow you may not be a prime minister. But don't have to worry that for that reason you don't have to lose peace. So you must not link your peace with any of the external object. Come what may be, we are at peace. Means the entire world, universe must not be able to disturb your peace because the universe is going on its own. Some places we might like, some places we may not like. If we not like, if we don't like, we lose our peace. If we like, we become excited. Again, an anxiousness happens. Oh, what if this goes away? So, like that, we keep worrying all the time. We will never be able to enjoy. But if you keep the mind into present now, then you are always happy. The present is always happy. If you notice, God has given everything. He has given this earth for you to live. He has given water, He has given oxygen, He has given sun, moon, everything is moving on its axis. Nowhere near the thousands and thousands and thousands of light year distance. So far, we have not discovered any life. Still, God has given so much for us. In spite of that, we human keep destroying the nature so much. Global warming has happened. We haphazard growth. We don't know what development means. Filling our pockets only we think as development. Money, 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 money. It's like you touch anything, it becomes money. But you touch your food also, if it becomes money, what will you eat then? So, like that, mind should not go into such cravings. That is what the problem creation that happens. You must dealing, keep your peace, practice that one spiritually by the exercises of meditation, bhakti marga, remembering the divinity, all these things. Instead of thinking God is not one person who has made everybody to undergo like this. It is every individual out of their own laziness have not tried to keep our mind under our control. We have not done any spiritual exercise. That means I have to take responsibility. Every individual have to take responsibility, not find God a scapegoat. God has made this, God has made this, God has made this. We forget that God has given you a beautiful body. God did not make you to lose that health like that one. In due course of time it will go, but in that time when health is all right, what were you doing? You were simply passing by, allowing the time to pass by and not doing anything. And then you complain that God has not given me anything. Like that, human beings always keep doing like that one. If we have not done, it was our fault. It's okay. Today I do not own any kingdom. If I go into craving, if I regret, it is my fault. I did not try to be a king. I wanted to be a monk. I wanted to be a saint. So I am a saint and monk. I must be happy with this. My mind is quiet and I am happy. I'm not unhappy that I don't have a kingdom and I am not a king. No need. Kings will not have any peace. A monk will have peace because the mind has become quiet. We become a real monk or a saint when our mind becomes quiet and settles in itself. then we are able to love everybody unconditionally. We won't have any expectations from anybody. When you have expectations, you lose your peace. And you want to accuse God. God has not given me this. God has not given me that. God is doing His world is happening. But we add our own wish list. The world should have been like that, this thing should have been like that, now it should not have been hot weather, now it should not have been rainy, now it should not have been this. Whatever is there we do not accept mentally, and we go into craving for something else, then we lose peace. And then we hold God as responsible. God has not given me good weather now, it is we who are spoiling the weather, everything. So we must take responsibility for our own shortcoming and do meditation, spiritual sadhanas in its right sense. So that is what is important. Then it will be all right.
Thank you, Babaji. The next question. Babaji, you mentioned since your childhood, you have had a happy and supportive family, yet deep inside there was unknown pain as if you were searching for something which was not there in this world. Later, as you grew up, you came to know that your soul was looking for the peace and happiness that it had felt when it was one with the self. Was this because in your previous life you had already lived worldly lives and played different roles, and your soul was now tired of the mind games and wanted to return to its natural divine abode?
Perhaps very true. In my previous lives, I must have been trying to find peace within, tired of this world and understanding the impermanence of this world. Totally, that was how from childhood means just for no reason I used to feel restless at the sight of the world. Never liked anything, never felt interested mentally, never got attracted for anything. So that was my situation. I didn't know why, what was it that I was looking. I felt as if I did not belong to this place, means this world or something like that. Then slowly, as I got inspired by other saints, Adi Shankaracharya, Ramana Maharishi, and then I was fortunate enough to meet my Guru Shiva Balayogi, through whose teachings and training I could get that thing, that which I wanted, the peace within, a self realization of what I am, and the mind settled totally peacefully. So long ago it settled down. It was always quiet. I had adopted a karma yoga because I had fallen in love with my guru. That was natural, simple, without asking anything. There was nothing that I had to ask. There was nothing. Just loved him for sake of love. Never asked him for anything. So whatever he kept me in, whichever way, whatever he wanted me to do, simply went on doing. That's how karma yoga happened. So these paths, present day generations may not be able to understand or appreciate easily. They don't know what bhakti marga means, what a bhakti to the guru means. We have, today's generations have 100,000 of questions and answers and desires, and they will try to weigh the guru. If the guru can fulfill those wishes, then only I will consider the guru as a guru. Like that, they will put conditions. So their minds have become like that. The world generally speaking, in the society in today's world. So, but for me, I just wanted Swamiji. I found him and loved him. That's all. There was nothing else that I had to ask Swamiji to give me. Simply peace. I found that peace.
Thank you, Babaji. Next question, Babaji. In this world, there are unnecessary conflicts, uncivilized ways among human beings, and innocent people are troubled. We do have a choice to put in the efforts in the right direction to create awareness to live harmoniously and in peace. Babaji, while we are blessed to have a divine guru guiding us towards spirituality, I feel sad and sorry for the rest of the people suffering in this world. Babaji, what is my role and how can I help others?
First thing, when you do not trouble anybody and you achieve your peace, that itself is a great help to this world. So then, once you achieve your peace, you might be able to inspire, influence somebody to practice these things. Whoever comes, you have friends, wherever you sit down, you might talk. I have achieved this peace. I advocate that you also practice these things, spiritual exercises, and achieve peace and contentment. And then you see, you live a normal life. You have a desire, but you don't have to be anxious. A past has happened, and don't waste further. By just worrying and brooding about the past, you are wasting more time. Today is also gone waste. Tomorrow is also going to go away like that one. Instead of this, get into the job. At least now work for something. You have to do it. Nobody else will do it. You have to work. Like that, at least you can tell somebody, whoever comes in contact with you, wherever it is. And if they criticize you, make fun of you, you will not be disturbed. Because if once you have achieved, then nobody can disturb you. You will laugh at them also. So that's what happens. So that's why repeatedly we are telling you, see, I am not asking anybody not to live in this world. You live in this world. You own any property, you own any object you want. It's up to you. You want to have a kingdom. But you must know that there is no universal guarantee in this world that you will get everything that you want. At that time, do not blame anybody. You don't know. You don't know what that ultimate truth is. You have an imagination that there is a God and God has made me like this. You simply take out your frustration with your own imagination. God has deprived me of this thing. God did not give me. Nobody knows about God. What is God? Who is God? Where is God? Everybody keep talking and imagining and accusing God. God has done like this. God has not given me this life. God never gave me peace. I was deprived. But what were you doing, idiot? Means we have to ask ourselves. That is important. We were not meditating properly. Our gurus taught us. We did not go to ashram and do spiritual exercises. We were just doing time pass. And this is what we were doing, all the nonsense things. And now we complain, the guru did not give me anything. Swamiji used to tell, ever since I completed my tapas, I am asking people to meditate. You did not meditate. What can I do? He said once. Is a Somebody asked a beautiful question and Swamiji answered spiritually. There was another person who was close to Swamiji. He told Swamiji, you never told me this. Swamiji shot back, you never asked me any question and you never wanted to learn anything. You are gossiping something else, and what can I do for that one? You wasted your time. You have been here for 1 week and you are wasting gossiping all the time. So what can I do? I told you to meditate, but you don't want to listen to me. Nobody listens to me. Every day I tell whoever comes, you meditate and know yourself, but nobody wants to meditate. They want to do everything else. They want me to endorse what they want. These people of this world are very cunning and clever. They try to be clever, and God is much more cleverer than them. So this is what happens always. Humans, people, we fool ourselves. We should work out. We should practice spiritual exercises and achieve that peace. Then you live the world. Whatever you want, you live, you try to have it. If you get it, you get it. If you deserve, if you can put an effort, then you will get it. Otherwise, you will not get it. That's it. If you don't get it, don't blame anybody. You are to be blamed. That's all.
Thank you, Babaji. The next question. Babaji has mentioned that knowledge and wisdom are poles apart. Babaji, please explain about this and how one can develop a deeper wisdom while practicing to remain at peace.
See, long ago, more than 20 years ago, after I came out of tapas, I told to use a weapon is the knowledge. Where to use that weapon, where not to use is the wisdom. This comes by the Guru's teachings, by your own practice, that you will be understand the situation. There is no need. If a small child is troubling, you just have to scold a little bit. You are not going to take a sword and cut its head. That is not wisdom. The wisdom is like that. After all, it's a child. Even if I were child, when I was child, I would have done this type of mischief. So you scold. Don't allow the child to repeat it again and again. Otherwise, you will pamper the child. You tell that repeatedly, this is wrong, you must not do it. So that is the wisdom you have to apply. Where and how much that. This comes by practice when your mind becomes purified, when you are able to control your anger and your desires, your Arishadvarga, six enemies of the human mind, extreme desire, kama, and extreme anger, krodha, extreme stinginess, lobha, moha, extreme attachment to materialistic things, that you are unable to live emotionally, you get affected, you lose your peace in this world, and false pride and jealousy. If you can get rid of all these things, you will have peace. So you practice meditation and then you do this one, then the wisdom comes to talk and not to talk and apply. Sometimes we see that people gossip and keep fighting just for no reason. If you have wisdom, we will understand we don't need this topic to be discussed and waste our times and energies just now. We have to do something else. Much more important things are there in our lives. Unnecessarily, we are arguing and wasting our time by applying our ego and stupidness and selfishness, all these things. See, selfishness, ego, these are the things which creates this type of nature in a person, problematic. All the time accusing somebody else, finding fault in somebody else, never trying to recognize one's own fault or rectify. We don't try to do that one. We always find fault in somebody else. That's how we try to find fault in God always. But I tell you, the day you really know what and where and who God is, you will hold your ears. My God, I'm really sorry. I apologize, my God. I was accusing you all the time. It was my fault always. I was stupid to go out away from you. I did not keep quiet. I tried to boast. I tried to get into unnecessary desires. When I was with you, everything was there for me. You are the ones who giver of everything. That's why Swamiji used to tell, even if God appears and asks you what all you want, refuse. I don't want anything that you can give. I want you only, God only. Because everything that God can give is impermanent and gives rise to cravings and problems. This is what happens. Always this thing what happens. So we have to understand this. So with the universe world, we have to understand the truth. Understanding the truth of this world, the nature is the wisdom. Say, this body is born, we live, everybody wants to live happily, no problem. But one day this has to die. Understanding that truth is the wisdom. If we keep crying and banging our head and cursing everybody and God and all these things, it doesn't make any sense. We have to die one day. We all know that one. So that is the wisdom. So this wisdom comes by practice of sadhana to cleanse the mind, clear the mind of its cravings. You practice meditation, you practice bhakti marga, and all these things will be helpful. Then wisdom automatically comes. Follow the teachings of your guru. It is the guru who instills the wisdom in you. If you follow his teachings, wisdom will come. Guru told, meditate and know yourself. If you had meditated and known yourself, the wisdom would have come.
Thank you, Babaji.
Um, Pranam Baba. My first question is about transcending time and space to become one with the space. Baba, we all know that the space is all pervaded and it is the ultimate truth. Nothing can go beyond the space. Um, that means, how can we go beyond the space to merge with the space when nothing can go beyond that space? How to merge with it? That's my
Now
question.
listen. Now listen to the answer. Pay attention. Here, you have to cross and go beyond the time and space means a space that you have imagined, not the all pervaded space. A time that you have imagined. You have imagined this body as yourself, and this body occupies a certain space. That space is imagination. That's what you have to transcend. And that imagination is in the mind. If you practice meditation just to watch in between eyebrows, then this imagination of yourself as the body will disappear. Then you would have transcended to merge with the ultimate space that is all pervaded. So that's what it is. Hmm.
Baba, that means we have to drop the mind imagine space and become one with that real space, the mindless space, that
Yes,
true space.
this can happen only when you practice meditation.
Okay, Baba. The second question is about Turya and Turyatita. In Turya, um, in Turya is experienced in Savikalpa Samadhi state, where there is a lot of bliss, ananda, and also the awareness of consciousness, the awareness of existence is there, but there's still duality. That means it is incomplete. But when the total merger happens in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, when there's no more I, only that tattva remains, only that ultimate self is there, is that is known as Duryadidam. That means above Durya.
Actually, you see, Turiya is the word, that is the pronunciation. That is what the ultimate truth is. When you would have achieved Nirvikalp Samadhi, different teachers would have explained in different way. Savikalpa Samadhi as the Turiya, then turiyatitam. So there is such imaginations unnecessarily. In ancient olden terminology, Turiya is the word used for the ultimate truth, achieving Nirvikalp Samadhi and merging with that ultimate truth self. That itself is the Turiya. So once you have reached Turiya, you don't have to go turiyatitam. Atitam is the beyond. That doesn't happen. So once you reach the ultimate space, there is no beyond space. That is the ultimate truth. So this happens through meditation when you cleanse your mind. Finally, when you are able to do tapas and achieve nirvikalp samadhi, then the turiya avastha comes.
Okay, thank you, Baba. The third question is about brain waves, Baba. So I'm eager to know what happened to a Tabasvi when he's in deep samadhi. What happened to the amplitude of the waves? It gets shorter and shorter and finally become flat so that his consciousness can expand. Or how could Baba clarify that one? Thank you.
In meditation, and one goes into tapas as he goes deeply and clears the mind, its resolutions of all life's acquired habits of the mind. As the mind reaches the nirvikalpa, brain's reflections, those waves all decrease. They go to the minimum. Mind now has become pure consciousness. That is its original status. That gets detached from the brain and goes into samadhi, into a nirvikalp samadhi, into itself. So this is what happens. A smallest portion of consciousness, if a person had a mission, that is the called divine's ordainment, will be kept in touch with the brain, and one experiences the nirvikalp samadhi and the self totally. Then he comes out of that samadhi into the touch of the brain. but his consciousness will not get applied too much onto the brain, so the brain's waves doesn't go too much. It gets lot of rest, and he uses the brain whenever that is necessary. So that is how it happens. Otherwise, he will remain in the self always.
Sahaja samadhi type, Baba. Is that
Yeah,
called?
naturally, effortlessly in that samadhi.
Thank you, Baba.
Babaji, namaste. Recently, Babaji, I met one person. It was like a new person. And while meeting this person, like it was for a few days, I felt a lot of resentment within myself. And normally I don't have this, but it was quite strong. If even after this person left, I was like so irritated. And I was wondering what is the cause of that and how to treat that, like, or to overcome these negative feelings. And yeah, sometimes I feel also I'm very sensitive to situations and people. So how to strengthen myself?
Only deeper sadhana, more meditation to make yourself more stronger. Say, for example, if somebody attacks, another country attacks your country, if your country has proper defense systems perfect, it can repulse easily, it won't get affected. In the same way, an individual, if mentally strong and through sadhana, if you have achieved total control of yourself, then any person, even if that person is negative, you can remain unaffected. If you get affected, means you still weak mentally, you are oversensitive unnecessarily in the spiritual language. For this, you have to do more sadhana, more sadhana. Then eventually one day you will be able to become more strong and you can remain unaffected by any negative or positivity of this world.
When you say more sadhana, it means I have to increase the number of hours of meditation.
If possible, a little more increase, and during the sadhana, apply the technique. See that you are totally just watching and not doing anything else. That is important. Means your mind must not be working, it must be quiet. So otherwise, it will be building stories, chatterbox. That's important. Take care of that. Then the meditation will be very effective for the whole 1 hour. If you can achieve the total quietness of the mind and just watching, that can take care of a long distance. It can make you so strong. So like that, you one is practice with proper technique, understanding the technique, and try to increase the duration also if possible. So wonderful that we could be with all of you and helping you to meditate and achieving silence. Hope you all paid attention to the Q&A, questions and answers, and you will be able to adopt in your life and practice. Then you will be able to achieve that supreme peace for yourself, that knowledge of the self. And in this world, you will gain more wisdom. You will become more wise to behave yourself. Bye bye.
Thank you,
It's time
Babaji.
to disappear. You're welcome. We will see you again.